Hey everybody, Rick Berube here with another Facebook Live, and we're very fortunate today to have real estate extraordinaire from the St. Rose office. Okay, Meli Pulido. Meli, welcome to the show. I did a panel not too long ago that you were on, wasn't it? You were on that panel, weren't you, a couple months ago? Yeah, great job. Great job. So you're doing well. That's extremely well. Tell me a little about yourself, how long you've been in the business, and all that good stuff, please.
So I've been in real estate. I made a grand entrance with the pandemic, so since March of 2020. And before that, I had a long career, 25 years of service with the city of Las Vegas. Retired there in 2011. Took a couple of years off and continued doing my volunteer throughout my whole life. My father and mother always instilled community service to others. So, along with my career with the city, I had about a good 30 years of parallel time in nonprofits. So, after retirement, I went into doing startups with nonprofits and ended up staying with Project 150 for about 6 years. Took it from the founder's idea on a napkin to what it is today, and did that for about 6 years, and then started real estate in 2020.
Yeah, I remember. I remember about. I think it was about what is about 5 or 6 years now. I did a little Project 150 tour to all the offices, playing a little music and introducing Diane and I with. I think with your help, that was fun. I think Project 150 is a great thing. So thank you for that.
It is. It is.
Yeah. Awesome. All right. So you're used to talking to people, prospecting. I mean, nonprofit, you ask people for help. Selling real estate is a breeze compared to that, right?
You know what? I think that in both my careers with government and nonprofit, when I can't say this is what works for me. When I focus on people, everything else grows organically for me. If I focus on, for instance, with the Project 150, when the two founders said, hey, we started this as a Christmas project and we have no idea what we're doing in the nonprofit world. We don't even know about the homeless population. If they would have set a goal that in 6 years we had to serve every single high school in Nevada, and that's over 13,000 high schoolers who are homeless or disadvantaged, and have over $3 million worth of services given to them when they didn't have a payroll, they didn't have funds, they didn't have a building, nothing in the infrastructure, no procedures. I would have said, no way, there's no way I could do it. But taking it step by step in a very organic way has been my way of building my foundation. For everything that I've done.
That is great. Yeah, and if you had told me before I got involved with Project 150 that many 13,000, children in high school are technically homeless, I would have been, how's that possible? But they are.
And that's in every zip code. So yeah. That's every zip code, yes. So my challenge is I try not to focus on the big picture, and I try to learn the fundamentals and be able to create a good foundation, and then my speed picks up. So I feel that real estate complements my government work, my nonprofit work, my passion to serve people. And if I keep it about my clients, I'm going to remain in a very healthy ego and not panic about units and how many units I have to close, how many transactions. All that will happen gradually.
That'll happen all by you. Yeah. And I would imagine because of your time with the city, your time with in nonprofits and so forth, all in Las Vegas, I would imagine your sphere must be very large.
It is. And I need to utilize it more than I truly do.
Yeah. Just call them up, get them rocking. Hey, because obviously you're a bundle full of energy and positivity. They'd love to work with you if they knew how to get in touch with you. So get in touch with them. Are you systematically going through and calling them, visiting them, a little of both?
So when I licensed, again, I entered with the pandemic. So there was like 3 months of what are we doing? Who's doing what? And I was able to do a lot of my post certification classes online from home and learning that. So my first transaction didn't happen till June of that year. And I was calling people. I was sending text messages. Hey, how are you doing? Hey, guess. And then asking how they're doing. Automatically, they asked what I was doing and how are you? Hey, just learning real estate. Got into this. Didn't realize we would be joining in the pandemic. So conversations started. Several of my transactions have been from city employees saying, "I know your integrity and I know your work ethic. I want you to handle my transaction."
That's
When
great.
there's so many options, right? There's so many options out there.
There sure are. And Las Vegas is such a great little city. I say little, it's actually much bigger now than when I moved here 12 years ago, but it's a great
Yeah.
city. I called, when I first moved here, I called it the fake city, right? But now, because it was mostly just casinos, but now it really has a little of everything. And with the tax benefits and so forth, a lot of companies have moved here. So it is really numbers wise, not only numbers wise, weather, the whole deal. It's a great place to live.
It is. It is. I've seen it grown. I've been here for about 45 years. So seen it grown from what Pahrump looks like, kind of like
Yeah,
today,
it's true.
what Las Vegas looked like.
That's true. That's true. Yeah,
Yeah.
I've only been to Pahrump once.
Mhm. Yeah.
That was a long time ago too. So tell us a little about how you do it then. Like you're in your second, you're finishing up your second year. How's it going? What kind of progress have you done? And what's your, how do you think you're going to finish up this year? And then maybe a little bit of how you do it as well would be great.
Right. Again, I focus on people, and
Right.
having been retired, I wanted to focus this third career chapter of my life to be more. I remember meeting with Carlos and saying, I just want to do one or two transactions a year so that it pays for my big family vacations, right? And he goes, yeah, right. You, one or two? Okay.
Uh,
So far in the 2 years that I've been in, I'm in 22 transactions, have three in escrow. And so it's been more than the two a year. And
apparently,
yeah,
you failed miserably and overproduced by a lot. Good job.
thank you.
You're going to
I would
fail
like,
upwards.
absolutely. I wanted to start this career a little bit different. I wanted to focus more on balance. And I know that whatever I do, I'm going to give it 100%. That's never going to be a question. But I also wanted to spend time with my family and be able to take the little weekend trips. And as a new grandma, I wanted to be able to enjoy my granddaughter and things that I wasn't able to do with my two daughters when they were little because I had to rush out of the house and go back to work. I wanted to enjoy that with my granddaughter. And it has been, and that's why I thought I could only handle one or two transactions a year. And it's been beautiful because people have sent me referrals. And again, just that quick check. Thank you for your referral. Hey, thank you. It was great. Although your referral went on pause because it got overwhelmed with the overbidding process. I know that we will stay connected. So it's been referrals, text messages, calls. I have not door knocked. I've been a little chicken about those things, but I need to do it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, with a sphere like yours, obviously, if you just stayed in touch with them and went through it alphabetically, make sure they're set up on the VAC 2.0. Hopefully, you're using that.
Yes.
Right. And then you just stay in touch with them. You'll do plenty of business based on that. Because, I mean, think about it. All your years, like a lot of the people I know here that were in the casinos, and some of them two or three casinos, and, or a police officer or a fireman. And then, and they have tremendous connections. So if you have tremendous connections, you can just work those. And, but you got to take a good listening. Going to knock the neighborhood is kind of fun, I think.
Yeah. Okay. I'll have to try that for sure. That's on my list to try.
You invite them to the open house. You go around, tell the neighbors what you've done with the neighborhood report and so forth, or just the just sold itself, and inform them of what's going on in their neighborhood. And I think first off, they like it because the real estate is the buzz. It always is. Whether it's up, down, indifferent, it's still the buzz, I think.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay, cool. So what have you've been in it almost 2 years now. I mean, what you thought it was going to be versus what it actually is, right? Was there a little difference, or is it pretty much what you thought it was going to be?
I think it's a huge difference because immediately I thought flexibility. And when you become your customer service orientation to your clients is to be available. And if it's a 24-hour town, so I had nurses who worked graveyard, so they were searching through my listings and my auto emails at 2 or 3 in the morning. So then I would receive those notifications, and they wanted a response before they went to bed at 7 in the morning or 8 in the morning. So it's definitely a creative way of managing my time. Flexibility when a transaction's in the midst and you're getting on a plane to go on that family vacation on why I got into this. The flexibility all of a sudden goes away. It's like, wait, whoa. And being new, learning all the little tricks of the trade is still in work in progress.
Yeah.
So the flexibility part, I still believe is there because
Hmm.
I'm able to call myself and say, hey, can you manage your calendar to make sure you're off this week to travel with the family? It's different than submitting a leave request and asking for, please, can I have that time off? The demand, when people say anyone can do real estate, come on, bring it on, because it does take a lot of due diligence on our end to protect our clients, to protect Berkshire. It just has been a lot of learning and a lot of stuff. The contract
Hmm.
alone, learning
Yeah.
it and making sure you do it right.
Yeah, I think you're describing that fiduciary responsibility, which is so
Yes.
important that a lot of
Mhm.
agents don't take seriously, but it sounds like you do. And with your past, with what you've done, of course, I think that would come, second nature to you. Like you say, people first, which I really agree with. I think is a great idea. So what you're saying is you have all types of versatility and flexibility. You just don't get to sleep.
I'm managing the balance, okay. It's so I feel that the reason why I selected Berkshire is the tools are available to us. I mean, number one, we're the only real estate company in the Fortune 500 top
Right.
10.
True.
They provide everything for us. Is the whole thing about not having to reinvent the wheel. I've already done college. I've already done the government job. I've already done the nonprofit and creating all the procedures for an agency. I wanted to be able to challenge my brain. I wasn't ready to retire on the couch, continue to challenge myself, but have the tools available to me. And we have marketing, we have a legal department, we have the greatest branch managers ever. And we don't have to reinvent the wheel. We just have to mold our own personal style
Right.
to presented in front of us and follow the recipe for success.
I agree. No, you said it so perfectly. We do have the tools and we do have all the stuff, and it's nice when people use it because it's so effective and so helpful. And the brand, like you said, the only if you look at Fortune magazine top 10 most trusted names on the planet, ever since I've been here, and I'm not taking credit for it, of course, but ever since I've been here, we've always been in the top 10. Highest I think was 3, and the lowest was 7, but we're always 5, 6, 7, 3.
Yeah.
In that list with names like Amazon, Google, Apple, Berkshire
This,
Hathaway,
yeah,
Disney, Bank of
yeah,
America, which I
yeah,
don't know how they made the list, but let's move on. I'm only kidding. I'm only kidding.
yeah.
All right. So now I can hear the energy, the enthusiasm. I mean, plus when you talk about balance, your first couple years, right? So it sounds to me like you have a whole bunch of good stuff going on. Like you don't have to sell real estate to make money. You want to, and you want to
Mhm.
fund your vacations. So that's an exciting place to be in your life. So congratulations there,
Thank you.
right?
Thank
But when you get in with your energy and excitement and context, I would imagine that you looked at this thing called balance and so forth. And then you go, okay, well, let me get through the excitement first of doing all these deals and setting, and then you can ease into more of the detailed schedule once you get that real consistent repeat and referral business, I think, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And this is where my next stage is being able to, I have to find my ground and my balance and being able to create that good foundation. And then I feel that my momentum picks up with all of the the VAC, the tracking and the prospecting, things that the last 18 months have been really, really rough with the buyers, right? So I
Hmm.
had 8 buyers that burned out because they were first time buyers on a limited budget, totally, maybe 1,000, 3,000, maybe 5,000 to play with above for the overbidding. And that made it frustrating for them because they felt 8, 10, 12 offers and nothing got accepted. Then the interest rate goes up. They're in pause, but just going back to nurture them and being able to say, here's the math, do the math. You go to rent, you're at 100% interest versus 5% interest. So working with them and focusing on listings as well.
Hmm. That's good. No, and that's such a true thing. Like newer agents will say to me, "Well, what do you say to somebody who says I'm just going to rent?" There's never a situation where, especially in today's market, where renting makes more sense than buying. It's like you're going to penalize yourself because the rates went up. Look, I'm going to rent for another year. Okay, so you're going to throw your money out another year. Besides, rents aren't going down, right? They're going up, right? Interest rates, at least when you lock in your payment, it's fixed for, unless you get a variable, which is fixed for 5 or 7 or whatever you decided to do for. So there's no reason to penalize yourself. Plus, the buyers you're talking about, by the way, you were talking about them. I mean, are any of them in therapy? The ones that didn't get houses, they're burnt out, but then hopefully they didn't go into therapy or anything. I always
No,
tell people,
but they
go ahead.
go ahead. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I always tell people to be patient or you'll become one.
Yes. So when I touch back with some of my buyers who started the pause in the fall of last year, I would tell them, here, do the math. If you have $5,000 to give in deposits for a rental, you definitely can get into a house. You've already been pre-qualified, and seconds away from signing on the transaction on the purchase, they got cold feet, they got nervous, there's going to be a crash, and my neighbor, my coworker, my family member said, don't buy now. Them a year later, that same house is $100,000 more
Right.
because of how the market took that. And so now they're trusting a little more that no, it's not 2008 all over again.
Right. It's not for so many reasons, but yeah. But you got to look at this. Okay, Las Vegas versus Los Angeles, New York, Seattle. Those are the ones you got to compare it against, because even if we go up a little, level off, maybe even go down a little, back up, which happens in real estate, just like the stock market. It ultimately, if you're there, it's going to go up in value. Plus, if you're putting minimal down, your house is appreciating, or your money's appreciating to the value of your home, not just the money you put in. Real estate is a tough investment to beat if you hold on to it long term. Really tough. That's why most of the millionaires, billionaires in this country have done it through real estate.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Okay, so Meli, so in order, to come out of the gates hot like you did, to really enjoy this business, give them a couple tips, like 3 of the top things you tell them to focus on to be successful in this business.
I like my own phrase, not being bigger than your healthy ego.
Yeah,
To
that's a good.
me, that just means that we all have an ego in order to have self-esteem and good confidence and uh, be successful in whatever field we select. But once we become egocentric, we're only thinking of ourselves and we're no longer thinking of our clients. And there's a lot of things that my clients have in their mindset of what they want, and it's not necessarily my mindset. However, it's their dollar, it's
Right.
their money. And if I handle things in a way that they're the priority and I don't let myself focus on units to make it all about me, what I'm taking home, then I am keeping in mind what they have in their mindset for whatever reason. That is their number one priority. And so not getting bigger than my healthy ego is important. I've worked with some agents in my very short time that it wasn't their lack of intelligence or intellect in the field. It was their lack of empathy, that there's so many moving pieces and there's more than just them in that transaction. And you just have to bite your tongue and just do the best thing that you can to be able to close that transaction for my client. So that's one of them.
That's a
And
great
then,
one.
thank you. And then the next one is I love everything Berkshire has to offer. Why do we have to reinvent the wheel? For me, I think I started with my mindset of, okay, I'm in charge of my business and I need to put these scenarios in place and this time management in place. I don't have to do any of that. I
Mm.
just have to follow what Berkshire has already found to be the success tools
Yep.
and
I
follow
agree.
that routine. And I
Smart.
fall short of that. I fall short of that. And I need to hold myself more accountable to don't reinvent the wheel. You want a balance. I wanted more time with my new granddaughter. I want to travel and enjoy my retirement, but still work full time. How can I do that? It's don't reinvent the wheel
Right.
and just follow what I'm told to do.
Well, and that kind of goes back to the first one. Don't be egocentric, because my way's better, but you've never done it before. So how do you know? Right. That's what I tell agents all the time. You haven't done this before. This is like your first. So that's really smart from a business standpoint, Meli, to have those 2 points in that order. Right. Don't be, I would call it, you're being kind saying egocentric. I would say, don't be an egomaniac. And then, follow the path. It's kind of like I always use, like McDonald's. I don't eat at McDonald's, but you can't argue that their system works, right? Matter of fact, they don't even let you buy a McDonald's until you go to Burger University. I think it's for a month or a couple of weeks, whatever it is. And they teach you how to do everything the McDonald's way. They don't say, and by the way, could you tell us what you would change? No, you follow it exactly the same way. And it works. So it's amazing.
And as a new agent, it's so easy to see the price on a silver platter and still look beyond it and say, oh, what should I be doing differently? Oh, why
Right.
am I not getting listings? Follow what I'm told, and I wouldn't have that issue, right?
Yeah.
So that's my second one. And I don't know, maybe this is cliche, but consistency
Mm.
is the basic thing, but yet we tend to, because we're self-employed, we have to be hungry enough to stay consistent.
Yep.
And I don't think either of the first two, I don't think there's a specific order, but if I had to choose one of the three, consistency would definitely be
Yep.
number one.
Yep. You don't have to, but if you did, you'd be right. Because like with social media, I tell people all the time, consistent is better than perfect. There is no perfection, because you're going to love it. Somebody else is not going to love it. Somebody's going to think it's great. And so it's just a matter of being consistent. When they see you constantly, and when I say this, I mean video being the best, people are going to do business with you. So. All right, cool. I love it, Meli. That's great stuff.
Thank you. Thank you. A lot of work in progress. You
Yeah,
said
well,
percent, and I tend to go for that 100% versus do your best at 80 and continue to improve. So I have
yeah,
to
it's
work.
better to be at 80 and keep going than to, some people stop. I'm going to practice. I mean, just keep going and you'll perfect it on your way there. That's the most important thing. Yeah.
In my own style. Love it.
Yep. Well, you are the best, Meli. I really appreciate you taking your time out today. Thank you very much. I'm sure you will keep killing it as much as you want to, but it's nice to know that you only need to do so much because you have a plan. I love it.
Thank you, Rick. Thank
Vacation
you
is a good plan too, Meli. I just want you to know. It's a good plan.
Yes. Always.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Meli, for your time. Appreciate it. Everybody will do this again on Thursday. Thank you, Meli.
Thank you.
See everybody.